Raf Shun says, Mr. President, Larry works for the New Yorker. He recently wrote an article about Scientology. Oh, I read that. I found it most intriguing. And Rosalind turns to him and says, since when did you start reading the New Yorker? And I read it every week. And suddenly I realized that Rosalind was going to be my fourth character in my play. She turned out to be very, very helpful to this project, and she gave me something that I really treasure, which is her personal diary of the Camp David experience. He's parsimonious with his time, and he believes that it's all been written before and people have said things, and he's moved on. However, if you start engaging him about the questions of the settlements, he's still very, very engaged with that. And of course, he's still involved in the Middle East, and he frequently makes trips there. He's deeply tied into the Palestinians and people in the Israeli community. According to President Carter, Menachem Begin, the Israeli Prime Minister, had agreed to stop settlement construction in the West Bank. And for as long as the negotiations over the Palestinian portion of the accords were going on. Begin, as soon as the conference was over, denied that. And as Carter told me, as soon as he got back to civilization, he began to lie about it. He feels very bitter about that. Members of the Israeli delegation say that Begin would never have agreed to that all he agreed to was a 3-month suspension while the negotiations were going on with the Egyptians to finalize the accords. I made a rule for myself that the history of the Middle East was going to move in a linear, sequential fashion, just as those 13 days did. And then under that are the tectonic plates of the Bible, the Torah, and Quran. And I've tried as much as possible to have that sequence be linear as well, so that you're moving through time, 3 different time periods. Peace is going to depend on fundamentally resolving the issues between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and they are the question of whether Palestinian refugees can return, or what would that look like. The resolution of the issue of Jerusalem. Israel sees it as its capital, but it's also very important to the Palestinians. And then the borders, what kind of state are we talking about? Israel doesn't have determined borders right now, and nor does the nominal Palestinian entity. So where do we draw the line? When those kinds of issues are seriously addressed, then we will have peace in the Middle East, but not until the politicians on both sides are willing to make the domestic sacrifices they have to make in order to obtain peace. It's the one that I'm not doing at the time.